games are like playoff games. Monday night, a division rivalry. It doesn't get any better.
If you got to motivate the team for this type of game, you've got the wrong players in your team.
Hell hath no fury like a coach scorned.
Mike Shanahan has had all the right players and made all the right moves when it's come to beating his former team. The Broncos have won 11 of their last 12 from the Raiders, including the last 7 straight.
It's a little special for me to win against the Raiders, being there, knowing their organization. For us to get to the playoffs and do something special, we've got to make sure we beat the Raiders.
But these are the Raiders of a new generation with the AFC's best record and emerging as its preeminent team. Tonight, they're the Raiders of revenge, disdainful of recent history.
Hell hath no fury like an irate Raider.
I'm not interested in what's happened in the past. I've heard about it enough.
In this league, all the wins are pretty special, but this one I think is just a little more special.
What's done is done.
You can feel the intensity in the air.
We've got a good group of players, and we're going to go after victory tonight.
It's mounting, it's ready to explode on a Raider.
Hell hath no fury like the Broncos versus Raiders.
I'm Al Michaels. Welcome to Oakland. The last time we saw the Denver Broncos, it was opening night, September 10th. They looked great. They beat the Giants, then they beat Arizona the next week. But since then, they have dropped 3 out of 5. So they come into with a mark of 4 wins, 3 losses. Huge game. And if there's one word to describe Denver this season, it has been inconsistent. The Raiders, meanwhile, have been very consistent. After they won the AFC West last season, they played the AFC Championship game here against Baltimore. They were favored, but they were upended, upset by the Ravens, who, of course, went on to win the Super Bowl. Now, this year they are 5-1, and that one was a last-second loss to Jay Fiedler and Miami. Oakland is that close to being unbeaten. But tonight, Dan Fouts, Denver gets a key guy back. It's the first time Terrell Davis will play since September 10th.
And the Broncos are going to need Terrell Davis tonight because John Gruden's Raiders are the most diverse offense in the NFL. And in Rich Gannon, they have the original take what the defense gives you quarterback. He'll pass the ball tonight to 10 different receivers. He'll hand it off to 5 different runners. And just in case, he may even take off and run for the first down himself. Rich Gannon gives the Raiders stability at quarterback, something they always had in their championship years when they had guys like Kenny Stabler and Jim Plunkett. You remember them, don't you? I certainly do.
You bet. And what a wild one this should be, as Denver tries to make it 8 straight over Oakland. Back in Oakland, Eric Dickerson is already in the Hall of Fame. Someday Tim Brown will be enshrined. And here's Eric with Tim.
Tim, Denver has beaten you guys 7 straight times. They seem to have your number. What did you guys talk about this week?
Well, you know, Eric, in this game, you got to have a short memory, man. So we're not worried about that. The only thing we're concerned about is the 4-game winning streak we're on. We're going to come out tonight, play a good game, and we think we're the best team, and we should win the game.
Now, when I think of Raider football, I think of long passes down the field. We haven't seen a lot this year. Will we see something tonight?
They give us the right coverage. Even I may be going deep.
All right, thank you, Tim. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you, Eric. Jason Elam will be kicking off in his 9th year. Elam, co-holder with Tom Dempsey of the record for the longest field goal in the history of the National Football League, 63 yards. And with David Dunn hurt, Terry Kirby, who was activated last week, saw a lot of action in the Philadelphia game, will run back the kickoff for Oakland. Crowd is rocking, beautiful night. And here we go from the East Bay with the flashbulbs popping and Kirby fielding the kick at the 6-yard line. Looking for room. Comes back out to the 25. Oakland sets up shop right there after the tackle by Eric Davis. Here's the Raider offense.
Rich Gannon, University of Delaware. Charlie Garner, University of Tennessee. John Ritchie, Stanford.
Jerry Rice, Mississippi Valley State University.
Tim Brown, University of Notre Dame.
Roland Williams, Syracuse University.
Barry Sims, University of Utah. Steve Wisniewski, Penn State University.
Adam True, University of Nebraska. Frank Middleton, University of Arizona.
Lincoln Kennedy, University of Washington.
You saw Steve Wisniewski, key man along the offensive front, left guard, 13th year out of Penn State, and he's going to wrap it up at the end of this season. This is his swan song. First play of the game, a pass to John Ritchie for a gain of a couple. Let's take a look at the Denver defense.
Keith Washington, the University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
Chester McLaughlin, Clemson. Trevor Price, Clemson University. Kavika Pittman, McNeese State University.
John Mobley, Kutztown University.
Al Wilson, University of Tennessee.
Bill Romanowski, Boston College.
Deltha O'Neal, California Bears.
Denard Walker, LSU.
Kennard Kennedy, University of Arkansas.
Eric Brown, Mississippi State.
And on 2nd down and 8, it is Gannon throwing into traffic and jamming it into Tim Brown up at the 37-yard line, enough for a first down.
You know, not only is Rich Gannon a gunslinger, the way with his throwing motion, but he has the guts of a gunslinger too. Watch the little area that he gets this ball into, right behind the linebacker Al Wilson, who is looking for Tim Brown. And that's the veteran Brown moving around the linebacker, giving his quarterback a target.
Gannon has not had a pass intercepted since opening day. He had his 4th pass of the season picked, and he's thrown 182 without one since. And this one is tipped and incomplete, intended for Tim Brown.
Not as many touchdown passes, Al, but like you said, they're controlling the ball on offense. Shanahan told us that's the big change he's noticed under Gruden. They don't lose games on offense anymore.
And he really deals the ball around. 13 different receivers for Gannon this year that he's completed passes to.
He discriminates against no one.
Just in case you were looking real carefully, a 2 somehow sneaked into that graphic. He's thrown 6 touchdowns with 1 pick, not 26. 2nd down and 10 at the 37-yard line. And they give the ball to Charlie Garner, and he takes it up to the 42-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 5 upcoming as Bertrand Berry is in on the tackle.
Yeah, that was interesting in talking to Gruden with Tyrone Wheatley out with a bad knee. He said, we're going to get everything we possibly can out of Charlie Garner. But remember, he's a 187-pounder. He's an every down back, but he will get tired. He plays so hard, he gets winded at times. But the Raiders have a luxury of backs with Randy Jordan, Terry Kirby, and Zach Crockett.
There is Kirby, activated last week. Garner, of course, spent the last 2 seasons in San Francisco. Now they have Jordan offset in the backfield on 3rd down and 5. Gannon has time, throws it, and it's a fingertip grab made by Tim Brown. Great pass, great catch off his fingertips by Brown.
Well, this alliance of Brown, Rice, and Gannon is almost unholy in their knowledge and expertise and experience.
And going against a very inexperienced corner in Deltha O'Neal right at the bottom of the screen. Just a little push off. Gannon throwing the ball in the only spot that Brown could possibly catch this ball because O'Neal is all over him. Brown reaches out for the first down.
Deltha Defensive Player of the Month in October for the league.
6 interceptions, including 4 in one game. And Gannon fires to the outside, and it is dropped. Roland Williams did not have possession of it.
I think they're going to get Romanowski for a personal foul.
Flag comes in at the end of the play. Romanowski playing in his 33rd Monday night game, and you'll hear his number called by the referee Tony Correnti in a minute.
Nobody in the league they like booing more.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 53. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Then Bill Romanowski. He's like Gorgeous George, man.
And a critical mistake for Romanowski. He should know better than this. Ball is incomplete, and he takes 2 steps, dives, drops his helmet right in the small of the back of Roland Williams. That is the epitome of a cheap shot. That's a big part of Romanowski's game, especially when he gets fired up to play the Raiders.
That's like a message pitch.
No, that was just a cheap shot. That was no message in that one at all.
Message is a first down at the 33-yard line. Gannon for Brown, and he can't make the catch. Over his shoulder, he tried to haul it in and couldn't.
Yeah, it was interesting in talking to Romanowski. He said that the Raiders have cleaned up their act this year. They're not creating and committing mistakes, turnovers, penalties. In the first chance he gets, he commits a really foolish mistake.
Well, he used to say that his barometer on how much the Raiders were going to talk on any given night was Wisniewski. And under Gruden's tutelage, Wisniewski's shutting his trap up and playing more.
He comes out on 2nd and 10, as you see, breaking the mark he shared with Ted Hendricks most consecutive games for a linebacker. And there is Garner making the catch. Charlie gets to the 27. Tackled by Al Wilson, setting up a 3rd and 4.
I know Wheatley's a behemoth, but in some ways, I bet you the Broncos are more glad to see, or wish they were seeing him than Garner. Garner has some hellacious moves where you just go for him and you whip on him.
He looked like he was a little too hyped up on that play because he had blockers in front. He just slipped on the ground.
There's Tyrone Wheatley, knee injury, out, maybe back next week when Oakland plays at Seattle. 3rd down and 4 at the 27-yard line on the game's opening drive. And here come the Broncos, and Gannon gets it away, and Brown's having a big opening drive and a 1st down to the 14-yard line. Run out by Delta O'Neal, and Brown has now caught 3 balls to 33 yards. That one good for 13.
Delta giving him too much room there, Dano?
Well, he did, because they brought Brown in motion, and O'Neal backed off. He's playing about 10 yards off. Now O'Neal falls down. That's 3 plays tonight we've seen players fall down. Gannon's getting great pass protection, but the reason Tim Brown is so wide open is because Delta O'Neal slipped on this turf.
Slippy, 22 feet below sea level this turf is.
Only 1 rush and 7 passes on this drive, and now rush number 2 is Charlie Garner taking the ball to the 11-yard line for a pickup of 3.
You know who laid that fact on me?
Who's that?
Mr. Al Locasal. Said the field is 22 feet below sea level here.
He would know.
Well, we got the Mile High team playing at below sea level. It's an odd correction for them.
2nd and 7 at the 11-yard line. Gannon. Brown for the touchdown.
Tim Brown again in motion to get off the bump and run of the Broncos, working against Denard Walker, number 27, and nobody can run a post any better than that. Walker hesitated, thinking he was going to the corner. Brown set him up beautifully for the post route.
Janikowski for the point after. 19,999 points have now been scored on Monday Night Football. Brown catches 4 for 44. Certain symmetry to that. Oakland takes an immediate 7-0 lead against the Bronx. Tim Brown. Well, Eric talked to him before the game, presaging a tremendous first drive for him. Romanowski with that personal foul that gave them a 1st down, and Oakland cashes in as they went 75 yards in 4.5 minutes, and now Janikowski kicks off, and the kick is fielded by Chris Cole, who takes it from the 3-yard line. And Cole breaks it all the way back out to the 29, where he's tackled by the linebacker Travion Smith. So we'll see Greasy, Davis, and the Bronco offense when we come back. 7-0 Raiders. Monday night game. Now the Broncos down 7-zip at the outset, begin from the 29-yard line, and they start with Eddie Kennison on an end around, picking up 5. Terrell Davis back in the lineup tonight. More on that. Here's Melissa Stark.
Well, Al, as you mentioned, he does get the start. Earlier this week, Mike Shanahan met with all 3 running backs and told them that the job was open for competition. Each one practiced with the first team, and yesterday Shanahan met with them again, told them his decision. Davis would get the majority of the carries. Mike Anderson is the number 2 guy. He'll get 6 to 10 snaps. That means Olandis Gary is the odd man out in a somewhat surprising move. Al, he's inactive tonight.
Very surprising. Good play fake and then a roll, and Patrick Haight makes the catch, but there's a flag down after an Oakland missed tackle all the way back at the 21-yard line. Personal foul, roughing the passer, immediately signaled by Tony Corrente.
Yeah, and it's on William Thomas. So both veteran linebackers, Romanowski and William Thomas, create fouls early in this game.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 59. 15 yards will be added to the end of the run. Automatic, 1st down.
Greasy had a nice play fake. Came out, found his receiver, then William Thomas. Oh, that's really ticky-tack. I don't believe that is rough, and he did not hit him in the head. He did not take 2 steps. And there's Haight down the sideline.
1st down. 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 1
at the 39-yard line. And here is making his first carry since opening night, Terrell Davis, as we see the rest of the Denver offense.
Brian Greasy, University of Michigan.
Terrell Davis, University of Georgia.
Patrick Haight, University of Alabama.
Rod Smith, Missouri Southern State College.
Eddie Kennison, Louisiana State University.
Dwayne Carswell, Liberty University.
And the offensive line, a bunch of modern-day Steve Carltons: Teague, Friedman, Nalen, Neal, and Lepsis. They're video only, no audio. They don't talk. Here is Terrell Davis behind a Matt Lepsis block. So Lepsis does his blocking, do the talking for him. And Denver has a first down on a 13-yard gain by TD.
Now, the one thing Gary Kubiak told me is that it was important for the offense to withstand the initial wave of emotion and noise in this crowd. Defensively, they couldn't do it, but offensively, thanks to the penalty by William Thomas and this fine run by Terrell Davis, the Broncos are in great shape, and this crowd is having a tough time getting into it.
Denver trying to answer Oakland's opening drive, and there's a toss to Davis, who turns it up inside the 20, all the way to the 10, and maybe inside for what figures to be a first and goal, depending on the forward progress. Dorsett and Pope knock him down.
Well, maybe Kubiak's decision to come down out of the booth onto the field to do the play calling is paying dividends, Dan.
Well, he certainly has a good idea what he wants to do. Watch the toss. 2 plays in a row now. The Broncos have gone wide, and it really has paid off as Terrell Davis, he looks fresh, he looks quick, he looks powerful.
First and goal just inside the 10-yard line, halfway through the opening quarter. And this is Davis. Looked like he might spring it for a second. He gains a couple. Greg Beaker climbs in to knock him down.
I think after 2.5 seasons of being Ding, Terrell is just going to roll the dice and see where his career takes him now. There's no hedging bets. Next time he gets hurt badly, you know, he's already talked about retirement briefly a couple weeks ago, didn't he?
Well, it crossed his mind. He had some leg pain. They took an MRI on the leg, found out there was nothing structurally wrong. That eased his mind. He had a good week of practice, a good 2 weeks, and he looks good tonight.
He tore his knee up in October of '99, and as you saw, 6 games played, 29 missed since. Second and goal. The fake, buying a ton of time for Greasy, trying to find an open man, and then he throws it behind Rod Smith, the league's leading receiver with 57 catches.
Too open, huh?
Well, he wanted Kennison in the back of the end zone, and Charles Woodson was playing zone and just did an outstanding job of staying back and keeping Greasy from taking Kennison for the touchdown. And then when Greasy came off on Smith, watch Woodson right here. He's just going to play zone. Kennison goes to the corner, and that's where Greasy wanted to throw the ball. But by staying back, he forced bad throw.
Maybe they didn't see him. These end zones are pretty dark.
Third and goal. Greasy's going to take off, and Greasy with a flag down at the 7-yard line gets to the 3. There's a penalty, though. William Thomas takes the tackle.
There was no play prior to the snap. False start. Offense, number 80. 5-yard penalty remains third down.
So loud that no player could hear the whistle.
Who is that? Rod Serling? There was no play? Come on, I saw a play.
Tell Brian Greasy there wasn't a play. He got drilled by about 3 Raiders at the 2-yard line. Isn't that right, Chucky?
Johnny Gruden, one of the 50 most beautiful men ever to study under Mike Holmgren.
And one of the real brilliant coaches in the NFL.
Great young coach. Third down and goal from the 13-yard line. Davis was flanked all the way to the left. Now he sets behind Greasy. Now he takes the toss, and all he can do is cover up. So they had a trick play working, and Davis fumbled the lateral, and now you've got Jason Elam coming in to attempt what will be about a 38-yard field goal, which would give us 20,000 points in the history of Monday Night Football and give him 1,000 for his career.
Yeah, Davis takes his eye off the ball, and he also slipped. Pitch was a little bit high, but I doubt they were going to get the ball into the end zone on that play.
39-yard field goal attempt, so they go from first and goal to a 39-yard attempt. 3 points would give Elam exactly 1,000, and it's good. And now, with Monday Night Football, that's 20,002 points. scored in the history of this package. And Elam is the first pure kicker to get to 1,000 points that quickly.
Ladies and gentlemen, that field goal by Jason Elam accounts for the 20,000th point scored in the history of ABC's Monday Night Football. The ball is being taken out of play and sent to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, where it will be set on permanent display. Congratulations to Jason Elam for scoring Monday Night Football's 20,000th point.
Poor Jason, the ball winds up in Canton. He wants the ball. It's his 1,000th point. He'll just have to move to Canton. Oakland 7, Denver 3. So Jason Elam to kick off. Terry Kirby back to receive for the Raiders. Again, minus David Dunn, who is their run-back specialist. He's inactive tonight. Kirby brings it back to the 22-yard line. And here comes Gannon again, who guided his team 75 yards to a touchdown on their opening drive. 7-3, Oakland. It's always Halloween, even on November 5th.
Wow, look, the guy's dead and he's still flossing. It's a key health hit. You got to remember that.
They like to call it the black hole. Raiders have done very well at home recently. They've won their last 8 regular season games at home, and most of them have been routes. There are Browns numbers, Tim, with a great first drive, culminated with a touchdown as they moved 75 yards on 2 runs and 9 passes. Now from the 22, Gannon begins with his 10th pass of the game. And the catch is made out in the flat by Roland Williams, tackled to the 28.
Talked about Tim Brown's first drive. Let's take a look at it. This first route is a zone beater right over the middle for a first down. Now he beats man coverage by Delta O'Neal. Wide open because of a slip there, and then a textbook post pattern for the 11-yard touchdown. Career number 88 for Tim Brown getting in the end zone.
Yeah, Gannon's a feisty guy, too. You blow an assignment, he'll tear you a new offense.
Second down and 2. Here's Garner on a sweep, turns the corner, puts his head down and shoulder anyway, and gets the first down before he's tackled by Al Wilson.
Well, that play looked a lot better when it started with Wisniewski out in front and Garner right behind him, but the speed of the linebackers of Denver always have had great speed there. Al Wilson is no exception.
Wilson and Garner both graduates of the University of Tennessee. You think they're volunteering here, or you think they get paid?
I think they worked for free against Notre Dame the other day. And speaking of Notre Dame, hey, what else is new? Shot of John Gruden. We didn't plan that. First and 10 at the 33-yard line, but clearly that's at the head of the rumor mill these days. The pass is incomplete, intended for Brown. McLaughlin put the pressure on that time. Everybody talking about, but nobody confirming anything, and you wouldn't suspect that they would, that if the Notre Dame job opens up, there is your next coach in South Bend. And of course, Gruden is the son of a coach who was an assistant at one point in South Bend. Davis, of course, has Gruden under contract for 1 more year. And John, well, he just laughs it off at this point.
My sources tell me Jerry Faust.
Second and 10 from the 32. You heard that in whispers, I know. Here is Garner coming back to try to make the catch, and he gets mugged by Eric Brown.
This offense is so well designed, they're always looking for mismatches. To get a running back like Charlie Garner on a strong safety or a weak safety like Eric Brown is exactly what Gruden and Gannon wanted.
Defense, number 26. Automatic, first down.
It's what you call one of those wheel routes where the back comes out of the backfield, fakes the flat. Here's Garner, and he's going to turn it up. Just uses speed there. That's a legal hit there. This is not. Never look back for the ball.
I like that little hand clap the ref did before he signaled first. Shows a vivacity most referees will not exhibit.
Correct, he's good. First and 10 at the 48-yard line, and they give the ball to Zach Crockett, who carries it up to the 49-yard line. Crockett saw a lot of action last week in the game at Philadelphia when the Raiders built up a sizable early lead and wanted to run the clock down.
Imagine getting 200 yards rushing against the Eagles without Ty Wheatley. That's a pretty appreciable mindset Gruden's instilled there. No matter who's dinged, Mo Collins, Barrett Robbins, you know, you don't have Ty Wheatley, you just get in there, and dare I say, you buck it up in their heart.
Second down and 9 from the 49-yard line. Garner comes back. Brown goes in motion. And there's action up front. And, of course, the Broncos are pointing at the Raiders.
False start. Offense, number 62. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Adam True has replaced Barrett Robbins, who's lost for the season to injury.
Ref's getting a lot of face time tonight, and I think he's eligible for the AFTRA dental fund already.
Broncos and Raiders, there figure to be a few calls.
A lot of scrapping going on here tonight.
Second and 14, the ball at the 44-yard line. Gannon under pressure, escapes, and then that's a nice tackle is coming up and getting him was Romanowski at the 46-yard line to make sure he didn't turn the corner after he had broken out of a would-be tackle by Trevor Price.
Gannon's got that 20/20 vision of a veteran quarterback. Sees Price blowing right up the middle, and he's thinking escape right away.
Price, number 93 against Frank Middleton here, number 73. Great power move by Price, but not enough strength to pull down the 35-year-old Gannon.
Gannon is 7 of 11, comes up with splitbacks here on third down. That's Jerry Rice lining up in the slot on third down and 12, and he stays in the block, and the catch is made by Jerry Porter, the emerging number 3 wide receiver at the 39-yard line. Can you believe Jerry Rice is a blocker and Jerry Porter makes the catch?
Yeah, I think they got their numbers mixed up. First name was right, but I think Porter's supposed to stay in the block. Watch Jerry Porter on Jimmy Spencer here. Ball thrown up for grabs, and at 6'2", Porter comes down with it. Here's the thing, though. Watch Rice blocking Kenoy Kennedy here and keeping him away from the quarterback.
McLaughlin.
It's our first obligatory mention of Chester McLaughlin. Offsides.
False start.
Ooh. All right, Chester, I apologize.
Penalty remains first down.
They're going to call it on Gannon.
Wow.
So they're contending that Gannon, by barking or hunching his shoulders, induced it.
Let's see what Chester was looking at. What drew him off sides. Watch the head of Gannon. That's enough. That two-head bob right there.
That second bob's like a balk in baseball, right?
Dan, would they have called it when you were playing, that head bob?
Yes.
Really?
If it's that obvious.
First and 15 from the 43-yard line. Catch is made in the flat. Ritchie to the 39-yard line. He's tackled by John Mobley.
So you're saying the bobblehead doll could not start at quarterback in the NFL?
Boy, look at John Ritchie. He's already got the red badge of courage streaming down his face. Lead blocker for the Raiders at fullback. Man, he looks like he ought to go sit in the stands with that face.
Wow, that's Van Egan-esque, man. we are in the black hole. The blood is flying.
Boy, get the gloves on.
Second and 10 out of a very tight formation. And then Gannon guns it, and it's caught by Jerry Rice to the 25-yard line. The great one, tackled by Delta O'Neill, who grew up in the Bay Area, idolizing Rice. 13-yard pickup.
Now working on Jimmy Spencer, the third nickelback for the Broncos, 33 here. Again, the Broncos are playing off too much tonight. They're allowing the Raider receivers to come down the field and get into their routes without any disruption at all. This is a timing offense. You must throw off the timing by jamming the receivers at the line of scrimmage.
Final minute, opening period. Oakland by 4. First down to the 26. Here's Garner. And Garner loses the ball. And it is picked up and run back to the 38-yard line by Kavika Pittman. So So the first turnover of the game stems the drive. I think it was Trevor Price who knocked it loose, and Pittman takes it back to the 38. How's this for dovetailing a promo? Tom Hanks is here tonight.
I thought they deactivated him.
That's Burton Hanks.
Take a look at the fumble. Trevor Price is going to split a double team. Watch him right here. Frank Middleton and Lincoln Kennedy, they come down, but the power, the staying through the maneuver to get inside Kennedy, have that left hand out there, knock the ball loose.
From the 38-yard line, first down for the Denver Broncos. Greasy surveys, and then all he can do is throw it away.
Well, it was a play like that last year when he didn't throw it away against the Raiders in Denver when he hurt his shoulder. So he obviously has learned the painful lesson. Nobody there, throw it away.
That was the night when Greasy came out, separated his shoulder, came back, and led the Broncos to a victory. And that's the night, not that he didn't have the respect of his teammates, but after that night, he was the leader.
No question about it. You have to prove toughness to your teammates. He proved it that night.
In spades and on national television. They flank Davis to the left. They send Smith in motion. They have four receivers operating from the right. The toss goes to Smith. That's his 58th catch. And Smith has been doing that all season long, taking the short pass and turning it into a big game. He's finally tackled by Anthony Dorsett.
You know, he's got running back skills. He catches the ball like a wide receiver, but he knows that you don't want to spend any time with fancy moves. Catch the ball, turn upfield, read your blocks, pick up first downs.
That one good for 15. It also ends the first quarter. Good spirited opening period. Oakland 7, Denver 3. Monday Night Football back after this from our ABC stations. Back in Oakland, Al Michaels, Dan Fouts, Dennis Miller, Eric Dickerson, Melissa Stark. Monday Night Football, halfway through the season, a quarter of the way through the game. Good first quarter. Oakland had the ball for 10 minutes. John Gruden's team leading 7-3. But now the Broncos begin on the plus side of the 50 at the Oakland 47, first and 10. And this is Davis, and he gets tripped up as we take a look at the Oakland defense.
Reagan Upshaw, University of California.
Rod Coleman, East Carolina University.
Grady Jackson, Knoxville College.
Tony Bryant, Florida State University.
William Thomas, Texas A&M University.
Greg Beaker, University of Colorado.
Travian Smith, Smoky Lane University.
Mr. Woodson to y'all, you know the school. Eric Allen, Arizona State University.
Marquez Pope, Fresno State.
Anthony Dorsett, University of Pittsburgh.
Charles Woodson, of course, went to Ohio State.
Second down and 10. And that catch is made by Dwayne Carswell, tight end to the 39. Let's check in with Melissa.
Well, Al, Jason Giambi, the all-star first baseman for the Oakland A's, will be one of the most coveted free agents on the market. Now, Jason, you went to Raiders practice on Thursday, and apparently John Gruden begged you to stay in Oakland. What happened?
Yeah, actually, Coach Gruden called me in front of the whole team and handed me $1 to start the fund. So he wants me to stay in Oakland because they're such big fans of ours. They come out to a lot of games, so we come out to support them.
All right, Jason, stay right here. We're going to do this play. We'll ask you a question afterwards.
All right, third down and 2. Trips left. Greasy looks right. Greasy throws, and the catch is made, and that is a first down. Rod Smith. Back to Melissa.
Well, so one of the most dramatic World Series in history. What were your thoughts on the way it ended?
That was the most incredible World Series I've ever seen. And that's the way it should have ended. I thought, God, the Yankees are going to do it again. Sirianni goes deep. And then all of a sudden, fitting, Luis Gonzalez against Mariano Rivera, and Arizona's champs. Incredible World Series.
Probably pretty tough for you to watch.
No, actually, I enjoyed every minute of it. I mean, I wish we'd have been there. Trust me, playing the Diamondbacks, but I enjoyed it.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. A's, of course, with a tremendous last two-thirds of the season. This is Davis, Terrell Davis, and he takes it to the 27-yard line, tackled by Travian Smith.
The good thing for the Broncos is that Terrell Davis is having a very good first half. Raiders with a controlled passing game. Their longest pass play all year long has been for just 38 yards. Longest run only 37 yards. Again, the Raiders lead the NFL in time of possession.
Maybe Jason Giambi should take his brother Jeremy out to practice. Gannon can show him how to do that quarterback slide.
Second and a deuce. The fake, they come back the other way. Carswell makes his second catch of the drive, and instead of going out of bounds or heading for out of bounds, he covers up the football and runs to the 7-yard line. What a play by Carswell.
Well, you got to remember that Carswell is 260 pounds. He broke a tackle from Greg Biekert earlier. Then on this play, he's a human pinball. Great job by Greasy with the fake. Taves right in his face, soft toss to Carswell. This is fun now. Boom! There goes Marquez Pope, but Pope hangs on with some help from his friends.
They go to their tight ends more, of course, because they lost Ed McCaffrey on opening night for the season. And here is Davis, pretty much looking like, I don't want to say the old Terrell Davis, but a better Terrell Davis, a guy who has missed so much time since he suffered that injury in October of 1999. His 97 and 98 seasons back-to-back were as good as back-to-back seasons as anybody, including our man Eric, Walter Payton, you name it.
Marshall Faulk has taken up the mantle in the interim 2 years since then and thrown up similar numbers. Just amazing. Maybe not the rushing numbers, but the total yards.
The thing about Davis is his running style fits this offensive line perfectly.
Light and quick is that offensive line. Second down, goal. Here's Davis. And he gets about halfway to the goal line, just inside the 3, setting up a 3rd down and goal.
Dano, flesh that out for me. Why does it suit this perfectly?
Well, he's got great patience, and it takes a lot of time for some of these blocks to develop. The Broncos, as everyone knows, they like to go low. And when they go low, Davis has a knack for finding where that crease is. I like that last play because a lot of times a running back will bounce to the outside and try to run to the corner. He didn't go. He went the short way right up the field.
Denver's going to take a timeout to discuss a 3rd and goal upcoming in Oakland. And Brian Greasy has been phenomenal. 10 touchdowns, no interceptions, hasn't been sacked in 22 passes. Here he is deep in the red zone after a timeout, 3rd down and goal.
And the Raiders know that Greasy likes to roll out. But Greasy has a lot of room to roll out to the right side, which is good because he's right-handed. And you really got to keep your eye on Rod Smith down here.
Smith has 6 touchdown receptions this season. They send him to the left. Everybody else is in tight. And on 3rd down and goal, Greasy comes this way. It's juggled and it's incomplete. Intended for Eddie Kennison, covered by Woodson.
Well, Eddie Kennison has not exactly filled the Ed McCaffrey void so far this year, has he, Al?
Wouldn't have gotten into the end zone anyway. I don't know about that play call.
That's the key point. Here he is, working off the screen. Did not move down the field enough. If he goes down the field, he at least freezes Woodson. Woodson's got a clean run at Kennison, who bobbles the ball anyway.
Tom Ruin holds Jason Elam to attempt a 21-yard field goal. And so the Raiders hold him to 3 after Trevor Price created the fumble. The Oakland turnover. Broncos move down, have it 1st and goal, but again have to settle for just 3 to make the score Oakland 7, Denver 6. You know who's going to be a rich man soon? John Gruden's agent.
Very rich. If the going rate's 2.5, he's probably north of that.
Well, I mean, there is a guy with a year to go on his deal. I mean, he's as good as it gets when you talk about young coaches. This is a short kick by Elam. 19-yard line. Terry Kirby brings it back out to the 39. So a short kick, good field position for Oakland. Let's check in with ED. Eric?
Well, Al, I can tell you one thing about John Gruden. With this football team, the players have really bought into what he likes to do. I mean, the players have a lot of faith in him. They really look up to him. And one thing you can say is that they really respect him as a head coach.
Well, you know why they respect him. I'll tell you, Gannon's a gym rat. He's like Chris Mullen. He gets in at 6 a.m. The door's open already because Gruden beats him there every day.
1st and 10 at the 39. And this team has John Gruden's stamp all over it, the way he's changed its offensive philosophy, the way they approach things. This is caught by Garner out in the flat. To wit, the Raiders are always thought of as a team. They love to talk about a vertical offense and throwing the bomb and all of that stuff. But there it is through 6 games, the completion mark highest in team history, but yards per completion second lowest. They haven't had a pass play of 40 or more yards, which is unbelievable. And just that one pick by Gannon on opening day.
Opening day early in the game was returned for a touchdown, but Gannon is perfect for this offense. His relationship with Gruden is perfect as well.
Second down and 5. Gannon, well, he's got that great shoulder move, that beautiful like twisting of the shoulders every time he gets in trouble, and then he escapes and he picks up the first down.
I know, it's like when a right-handed boxer goes lefty all of a sudden in mid-round and throws the rusher off for a second.
Now he's a third leading rusher, and he's 35 years old. There's that move. Dips that right shoulder. Now he knows what he needs for the first down. Now he knows when to get down.
Gannon, 35, but he has never played better than he has over the last 2 seasons. There he is with Minnesota, with Washington briefly, with Kansas City. First and 10. Gannon throws, and that's a short pass that's caught by Brown.
Even in that brief picture we showed of him, he was studying his playbook, Al. Did you see that? Looking down at it.
Since 99, well, there's Warner with the Rams and Manning with the Colts with 27 wins, and Rich is right there at 25.
I just love the way they spread the ball around. Gruden says that it helps build chemistry because each guy feels like he's contributing to the winning cause.
Gannon, raised in Philadelphia, went to school at Delaware. On second and 5, throws. That's caught. First down. Charlie Garner frustrated because he thought he had more room to roam after he hauls it in, but slips down at the 31-yard line. First down.
And this is a typical Raider drive right now. Gannon says we don't do anything fancy. We don't go down the field that much, but we will at times. We're more likely to run a 10 to 12 play drive. First score was a 10-play drive. This is a good one going right now.
First and 10 now at the 30-yard line. Terry Kirby in the game. Gannon hit as he throws from behind. Kavika Pittman, who recovered the earlier fumble, is the guy who had hold of Gannon. Second and 10.
It's ironic that, in a way, when you meet Gannon, he's so self-effacing. He's almost like the most un-Raiderish guy, and here he is, the one who will lead them back.
He's self-effacing, but he has tremendous assuredness.
Well, what's he got to lose? You chronicled his history. He was out of football with a shoulder injury. He knows this is as good a chance as he's got to go all the way.
Second down and 10 at the 31. Last year, of course, he was hurt in the AFC Championship game, and they had to go with Hoying the rest of the way and wound up losing to Baltimore. Gannon lofting it perfectly. Rice makes his second catch of the night. Beats Deltha O'Neal and then gets banged out of bounds and winds up under the tarp, but he's okay.
Great tandem route by Tim Brown and Jerry Rice. Rice worked the inside at the slot. Brown came down, kind of got in the way. Watch Rice kind of just set up Deltha O'Neal there. Brown came in from the outside. Perfect pass. Gannon has only been sacked 9 times this year and is yet to go down tonight.
Rice and Brown like Hope and Crosby there. They just worked the kid.
First and goal now at the 7-yard line with Brown going in motion. Fake. Gannon has room and gets knocked down at the 2-yard line and he's hurt. And that will put everybody's heart in his throat right now. Ian Gold and Kanoy Kennedy were there, and that is the last sight in the world that Gruden wants to see because they go all the way down to Rodney Peete and the rookie Marcus Tuiasosopo as the backups.
And Gruden's searching for a play right now. He doesn't know if Gannon, he knows one thing, Gannon is not going to play this next play. He's just hoping he can play some more.
Exactly, has to come out for at least one play. Rodney Peete has to come in for at least one play, and we'll check on Gannon. Rodney has not appeared in the game since the last game of the '99 season as a Redskin. Here's where Gannon gets shaken up. Kennedy hits him.
And I hate to say it, but I think Rich Gannon was out before he stopped his slide here.
Gold hit him first. So here's Rodney Peete seeing his first action in almost 2 years. Comes in second and goal and just hands the ball off to Crockett, and he's in for the score.
Handing off's like riding a bike, Al. You don't forget.
You could have banked on a run. There's no question about that. And they give it to Crockett, and he gets in. And we'll check on Gannon. But Oakland now leads 13, going on 14-6.
Off the right side behind Frank Middleton and Lincoln Kennedy. Big power over here. Watch this run by Crockett. Ritchie with a super job of clearing Romanowski out of the way. That is a lead blocker.
Janikowski for the point after. 6:48 now left in the opening half. The question is, how's Gannon? 8-point lead for the Raiders. Sebastian Janikowski to kick off for the Raiders. And Chris Cole will return the kick. There he is. After the Raiders had moved 61 yards on that last drive, Crockett scores. Here's Cole from a yard inside the end zone. Good stutter move. And then up to the 27-yard line where Eric Barton trips him up. Let's go back to the Gannon play.
A lot of Bronco fans would like to see Kenoy Kennedy hit like Steve Atwater. Well, this is a legal hit because Rich Gannon is a running back at this point. He is not defenseless. He is in the act of trying to get a touchdown. Gruden arguing, but I'm not sure what Gruden wants. Does he want half the distance there, or does he want Kenoy Kennedy kicked out of the game?
Looks like he wants helmet to helmet.
Well, you don't have helmet to helmet when the quarterback is out there running the ball. He is a running back at that point.
I'm with you, big guy.
From the 26-yard line, first down. Davis goes nowhere, checking with Militia.
Al, official word from the Raiders, Rich Gannon was just shaken up on the play. He is expected to return. He came over to the sidelines, had a conversation with John Gruden, at the end of which Gruden said, "I love you, man."
I'll bet he does.
You know, Gannon's so out of it right now, he probably thinks they're married.
Who, he and Richie?
No, when he said, "I love you, man," he probably thought, who's this guy?
I think Gannon wanted a beer.
Second and 10 from the 26-yard line. Greasy. And just getting enough of him was Travian Smith, who's playing tonight because Elijah Alexander, normally starting in that spot outside, is hurt.
Travian Smith is going to get this sack because the Raiders had great coverage. Tony Dorsett in a zone here. Rod Smith on a shallow cross. It's one of those fire blitzes. Did you see Josh Taves dropping into coverage? A defensive end. But the Raiders were expecting pass. They had the perfect coverage called for it.
Third and 13 now. Crowd in full throat from the 23-yard line. Greasy. Pass is caught at the 29 by Desmond Clark, and he gets rolled down close to a first down, but short of it. And they're forced to punt. William Thomas made the tackle.
Well, they used to have a multi-headed Hydra tight end for the Denver Broncos, but it seems like they've winnowed it down now pretty much to Carswell and Desmond Clark. I'd say Carswell, from what we saw earlier, is the guy who runs for the tougher yards, and Clark might be more of the receiving tight end.
You know, this was a case where Gruden and Gannon probably wanted the Broncos to go on a little bit longer drive, but 3 plays and out now. We're going to see Rich Gannon back on the field, and I don't think he's 100%.
Tom Ruin in his 9th year as the Denver punter. Fair catch is called for, made at the 16-yard line by Tim Brown. Again, Brown forced into punt return duty tonight because of the injury to Dunn. 48-yard punt. At the 17-yard line on first down, Gannon throws, and the catch is made by Jerry Rice over the middle. So Rice, after all of the spectacular performances he turned in across the bay, and I guess as the blimp used to fly, it would be about 10 miles from here to 3Com, May Candlestick Park. So You know, guys, I mentioned at the top of the show, 12th time we've seen these teams on Monday Night Football, and the rivalry probably better than ever right now.
Yeah, and I think the Raiders have the better team right now. They're certainly playing that way. But with Denver, they are so confident.
First and 10 now from the 27-yard line, and here's Charlie Garner. And that's one of the reasons they are so confident, because they have Garner, the former Eagle and 49er, having a great year.
You know, Bean, we had the 20,000th point scored tonight, and you think that would be the most propitious event of the week, but certainly you becoming a granddad. Little Caitlin welcomed into the world.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, I work quickly, you know, so.
And a birthday boy.
And your birthday?
Yes, 32 years old.
That's right. We're all Scorpios. I'm next week. You're last week. Caitlin Michaels, November 1st. Thank you.
And Rod Smith's daughter, Rebecca's 12th year birthday. Happy birthday, Rebecca.
The whole social calendar. First and 10 from the 40-yard line. Brown.
Felt like Harry Carey there.
At about the 50.
And the Magdalene Cicero out in Cicero, Illinois. You think I could have came up with a different last name than the city, but I was free-forming.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask, defense, number 27. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Denard Walker.
Another penalty, another personal foul penalty against Shanahan's Broncos. Denard Walker's number 27. He reaches back. That's Kenoy Kennedy there. He's not guilty, but watch. That's called right there on Jerry Rice. Oh, pulling the Hall of Famer. That's down to the ground.
That's not even face masking. That's orthodontic work.
First and 10, 3 minutes to go in the half. Terry Kirby is in the game in the backfield for the Raiders. Gannon sends Brown in motion. Then looks to the left and makes the throw to Jerry Porter, who gets upended at the 31-yard line.
Well, Gannon looks pretty lucid from what I see. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, I do too, Dennis. The thing you got to be careful about, though, is that with a head injury like he suffered, that things start to slow down as a quarterback as the game goes along. Right now, this is a heck of a hit. Porter hanging on. Denard Walker, it's a beautiful hit. And boy, Porter's lucky he didn't suffer a catastrophic injury. Wow.
Second down, 6 now. Great protection by the Raiders. Gannon with a ton of time, threads the needle, hits Tim Brown. Brown takes it to the 20. That's a first down. Tackle by Al Wilson, and Brown tonight has already caught 5 balls. Make it 6 now. 6 for 60 yards.
Well, that tells you everything you need to know about Gannon. He made 3 progressions and then threaded the needle.
2-minute warning. Raiders on the move, up by 8. Raiders with 17 first downs. And one right here at the 21-yard line at the 2-minute warning, up by 8. Gannon stepping up, stepping out, throwing on the run. Brown again, his 7th grab to the 10-yard line and close to a first down. Tackle by O'Neal.
When you have veteran players like Gannon and Rice and Brown, you have patience. They're never in a hurry. They may look like they're a little frantic in the pocket like Gannon there, but he knew exactly where his receivers were. Tim Brown found the dead spot, didn't run out of it, gave his quarterback a target.
The Raiders look like they're in a streak-ending mood tonight, Al. I think they're sick of this.
They are.
Listen to the Bronx.
It is first down, and let's see where the ball is. If the nose is on the 10, it's goal, but it's just outside, and it's Brown making the catch at about the 3. They can actually get a first down without a touchdown at about the 2-inch line.
It's amazing that a guy like Gannon can take a hit on the bean like that and even calibrate into a finer degree. These passes are right there.
And mentally, he's sharp. That's really the key. And what a luxury to have the chance to split out 2 receivers like Rice and Brown to one side of the field.
Play selection, as you can see, the Raiders pass dominant tonight. 2nd and 4. Brown has caught 8 of those 24 passes. There's Tim in motion. And Gannon surveys, throws wide open is John Ritchie. Touchdown.
little too easy for Mike Shanahan's sensibilities, no doubt.
Well, Ray Rhodes' defense is going to have to do a lot of adjusting here at the half. Gannon is 20 out of 25.
77, Doug.
Janikowski for the point after. Gannon at 80%. Brown has caught 8 passes. And talked at the top of the show about all of the receivers Gannon has at his disposal, including Richie here.
Richie's second touchdown reception of the year because Al Wilson here has him in coverage. The play fake by Gannon is perfect. It draws Wilson up, and now he's too late getting back to Richie. Touchdown, second touchdown pass of the night for Gannon, who had gone a while, a couple of games without throwing any touchdown passes. You think Gruden loves Gannon a little bit more now, Dendu?
John, he usually has that scowl on. I don't think I've ever seen him that ebullient. You talk about receivers. You got Tim Brown, Jerry Rice, Porter's your third guy. You know they use in the 4 wide sets? Don Hudson. Is that unbelievable?
Cliff Branch was spotted earlier.
My man. I got to come clean. I think that's the greatest football player I've ever seen.
He'd have a lot of company.
I mean, I know people say receiver. Yeah, sure. Gibbon, way out there. Past the pillars of Hercules. But I'm talking about that might be the greatest player.
Well, if you were in a debating class, you could certainly put up enough numbers to support your position.
Now, you think about 17 years now? Jimmy Brown had 9. It's an amazing comment.
He's coming up on his 39th birthday.
Janikowski's kick. Chris Cole from the 5-yard line. He brings it back up to the 31, and Greasy's got to try to get something going. How important is this game to the Oakland Raiders? We'll let Eric Allen tell you.
Instead of worrying in week 12 or 13 if someone can beat Denver for us, we have the opportunity to take care of it for ourselves. So it's very big for us. Shanahan's had a lot of success against us here, and since I've been here and John, we haven't beaten him. So it's very important if we're going to be a championship team and carry the mantle for the AFC, we have to win this game.
Nice pop for Point Loma football there. Where's that at?
San Diego.
First down from the 30-yard line. Greasy throws, catches made. This is Carswell, and Carswell like a truck out to the 49-yard line.
Carswell's having fun. He's bouncing defensive backs right and left.
Denver takes a timeout. That's their second, one left. Twice, Mike Shanahan's team has trailed the Raiders by 11 points, but never by as much as 15, which is the deficit right now. And a very big drive here for Denver to try to get some points on the board at the end of the half. Down by 15, Greasy on first down throws, and again he goes to Desmond Clark, the other tight end, after he hit Carswell. The ball is at the 40-yard line. That's a first down. They save the remaining timeout. 1st and 10 Denver. Greasy then goes to the outside. This is Smith, who normally doesn't like to go out of bounds, but then he realizes what the game situation is and saves the timeout. Ron telling us last night, I never want to go out of bounds, but all of a sudden it kind of clicked. Hey, wait a second. I got to get out here.
And in nickel, as the Raiders are in now in their prevent defense, this is the matchup that Shanahan wants. Torrey James, a former Bronco, against Rod Smith. We'll talk about a heads-up play there by Smith. Knew he couldn't get anything down the middle of the field. Saved his team precious time.
Nobody is more aware in this league after the catch than Rod Smith.
Rod Smith has caught 60 balls, tops in the league. 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line. Greasy flushed and then throws, and making the catch along the sideline and getting out of bounds is Patrick Haight at the 23-yard line. So Denver now at least in field goal range.
And the other thing about the Bronco offense, a lot of teams run their red zone offense when they get into the 20. Greasy and Shanahan like to extend it. They call it the red zone fringe. They'll take some shots from the 25 because they have more yardage to work with.
And the clock had stopped anyway, and the Raiders will utilize the clock stoppage to take a defensive timeout here. 2nd down and 3 at the 23. One timeout left for Denver. And Greasy for Smith, who gets inside position but can't make the catch. He got inside Torrey James, an ex-Bronco, but the pass a little high.
My question is, why is Torrey James in the game and not Charles Woodson? Greasy doesn't care. He knows that James is the target, and he wants to give Rod Smith the chance. Rod Smith has really long arms. Not long enough on this play. Got to give it to Torrey James with a great coverage as he knocks the ball away.
And there is Woodson on the sideline. 3rd down and 3 at the 23. And there's no play. There was a whistle. It's so loud, as we mentioned before. It's the 2nd time everybody's been in action.
We have 2 fouls, though. They stopped the play with the first flag, and we heard the whistles. But then our official, Tony Correnti, threw another flag.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense, number 89. 5-yard penalty remains 3rd down.
So that makes...
Because of the false start, the flag for holding will be picked up. There will be no penalty for holding.
That once there's no play, right, it renders moot anything else that happens.
Maybe Missy or Eric can get us an update on Woodson.
Well, here he is. There's your update right there. Drew Esikoff just got it for us.
I can't believe he wasn't in.
Camera 36.
He certainly was out for a couple of plays.
I know.
We have cameras 32 through 37, Dennis. That's it. 3rd down and 8. But Drew makes it look like 36 at the 28-yard line. And flag, and that may be one of those unabated as Regan Upshaw comes across the line, unless he was induced.
Well, that's frustrating for Gruden because Upshaw has had a lot of personal fouls.
Defense, players in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty remains 3rd down.
That offsets the false start.
Well, and it's such a crucial mistake because it allows the offense so many more options what type of play they want to run here. Remember, Terrell Davis is still in the game, and Greasy hasn't given him the ball. But now at 3rd and 3, you can run him on an option route or just hand him the ball behind this offensive line.
You know, in a rivalry this heated, there almost isn't a neutral zone between these two teams.
Greasy on 3rd down has had his problems this season after performing brilliantly last year. Davis lines up as the ace back. 3rd down and 3 at the 23. Raiders show blitz. Here they come. And Greasy gets sacked at the 29-yard line by Travian Smith. Now the clock momentarily stops because of the sack. Now it restarts. And they're going to have to take their timeout to get the field goal unit in, if that's what they want to do. The clock is still ticking down, and now Greasy has to take the timeout here to set up Elam for what's going to be about a 48-yard attempt.
Boy, Travian Smith really comes hard on the outside here. Working on Matt Lepsis, just went right by him with speed, and then the strength to pull Greasy down as he was stepping up into the pocket.
Well, keep in mind how many players we've seen slip on this surface tonight. Keep an eye on Elam's plant foot. Did I just say plant foot? Sorry.
Travian Smith had a half sack in his career in 40 games. Prior to tonight, he has 2 in a half. And again, he's playing because of the injury to Elijah Alexander. The ball will be spotted by Tom Ruin at the 38-yard line. A 48-yard attempt. David Diaz-Infante will snap it. Barring a penalty on the defense, this will be the final play of the half.
Raiders have blocked 2 field goals this year, both against Dallas.
Officially 47. And that one gets deflected. Deflected, we think, by Dorsett. So a first half of frustration for Denver. Twice they had a 1st and goal and had to settle for field goals. Then they're marching down the field and get stymied at the end here.
Coming off the corner, laying out and getting the ball. Anthony Dorsett with a great effort here with the left hand.
21-6 halftime score. Let's go to Melissa on the field.
All right, Mike, Tim Brown, Jerry Rice, very effective in the first half. How do you stop their passing attack?
We're going to have to slow them down. They've had the ball 4 times and 3 touchdowns, so we've got to pick it up on defense. And offensively, we've had the ball 4 times, and we've got to settle for field goals, so hopefully we'll improve in both areas.
All right, thanks, Mike. Let's go over to Eric with John Gruden.
Coach, last week you ran the ball 47 times. Did you see something in the defense tonight that made you throw the ball so much tonight?
Now, we threw it 25 times in the first half. The situation last week is different than this week. We're just trying to win, Eric.
Okay, thank you, Coach. Back to you, Al.
All right, thank you, Eric. 21-6, the Raiders on top as they try to beat Denver for the first time in 8 tries. Back we come to the Network Associates Coliseum in Oakland. 21-6, and what a half for one Rich Gannon.
Yeah, and John Gruden says, I love you, man, and let's show you why he loves Rich Gannon. This is before the 11-yard touchdown pass to Tim Brown, got things rolling. Then he scrambles with that nice little shoulder dip you talked about. Now the big hit by Kenoy Kennedy, number 28. Out cold, back in the game, Porter with that catch. And then Gannon with the nice soft toss to Richie for his second touchdown of the night.
I think guys like Gannon and Steve Young, who have to 11 for a while, have to sit there and wait their shot, are better at running the West Coast offense. I don't think it's a young man's offense. There's just too much to remember, too many intricacies.
Young had to wait a while, and then for Gannon, you know, he started with Minnesota back in 1987. He was actually picked by the Patriots. He was drafted by New England in the 4th round. 87, never played for them. As you look at Brown with 8 receptions, 8 of the 20 by Gannon. But Gannon, then to Washington, he spent 2 years, in fact, out of football, including most recently 1994. And we talked about that last night. He said he was rehabbing his shoulder. I asked him if he ever thought he'd get the chance again to play. He said, well, I was thinking about Canada at that point.
Boy, and it's a good thing we don't have to watch him on Canadian TV to watch this guy, just a master at running this offense.
Janikowski's kick is pulled in at the 1-yard line by Chris Cole. And Cole begins the 3rd quarter by taking it up to the 28-yard line. Dan, let's take a look at the numbers.
Well, the Raiders ran 36 offensive plays in the first half. They made 20 first downs, and they gave their punter, Shane Leckler, the first half off. No punts for the Raiders. The Broncos, on the other hand, numbers are decent, but they only have 6 points. Terrell Davis off to a good start, but since that first quarter, the Raiders have shut him down.
From the 27-yard line, a toss back to Davis. To the 30, check in with Melissa.
Al, even though the Broncos are trailing by 15 points, Mike Shanahan doesn't feel like they need to play catch-up. He said that they've moved the ball pretty well, and he also said expect to see Davis carry the ball at least 10 times in the second half.
Davis carried the ball 10 times in the first half. That was his 11th carry right there for a gain of 3. Second down and 7. From the 30. Here come the Raiders. There goes Greasy. 26. They're not getting clear shots at him, but they're disrupting everything. Roderick Coleman able to knock him down.
Yeah, it's a real good blitz package. We've seen Travion Smith in on a couple of sacks tonight. He came that time along with Greg Biekert, and Biekert had the first shot at him. Watch 54 right here, and then Smith right behind him. Greasy running for his life. Just has no time. Once he sets that back foot, Biekers right in his face.
3rd and 12 now from the 25-yard line. Greasy fires over the middle, and there's contact made, and now there's a flag because it was Rod Smith. It was Marquez Pope draping himself on Smith. Or Dorsett, I'm sorry, Dorsett, number 33.
Pass interference. Defense, number 23. Automatic. First down.
Amazingly pivotal call.
Take a look. I think it was. Go back to what I said. I think it was Pope, and he's holding his hands up, saying, "Who, me?"
Well, it's Anthony Dorsett. There's no question about this. The right hand comes in on the helmet before the ball got there. Oh, and Greg Biekert lays out Scotty Montgomery.
First down at the 43-yard line. Greasy throws. Catch is made over here by Desmond Clark. And Dorsett takes him out of bounds on the Raider side of the 50 all the way down to the 43-yard line.
Biekert even nonchalanted that.
Yeah, he had a freebie there. Montgomery never saw him. Coming across the middle. A lot of crossing routes in the West Coast offense. The middle linebacker has got to do this. Woo, man, we got both things in one picture.
First down at the 43-yard line. And now they give the ball to Mike Anderson. Again, Anderson has been their basic back this season because Davis has been hurt. Gary has played a lot, but Olandis is inactive tonight. And Mike Anderson, who rushed for over 1,000 yards last season, sees his action out of the backfield right now with Davis getting a breather.
Well, and the last time Mike Anderson played the Raiders here in Oakland, all he did was go for 187.
Second down and 4 from the 38-yard line. Anderson, big hole, first down, and he takes it all the way down to the 20-yard line where he's tackled by Marquez Pope. And again, you talked about that offensive line paving the way, Davis being such a good man behind it, and so is Anderson.
And a little bit difference in the way they attack with Anderson. 2 plays right up the middle. This play behind Dan Neal, number 62. Watch the block on Grady Jackson, opens the hole, and then Tony Carter with another good lead block.
Anderson again, and Anderson with some tough running to the 15-yard line. You know, a lot has been made, Dan, about chop blocks and cut blocks, and a couple of Denver offensive linemen fined recently. And, of course, they've been talking about that for years in Denver.
Well, we'll discuss exactly what is legal, what is not legal. Right now, there are no cut blocks because this is power football. They're coming out of their stance and going right at the Raiders.
Second down and 5, ball at the 15-yard line. Back to Davis. More power football to the 11-yard line.
Well, cut blocking is allowed in close line play in the tackle box. And the tackle box is from tackle to tackle and 3 yards deep on either side of the ball. Now, the cut block or blocking below the waist is legal if from the front, and it's legal if from the side. But the cut block is never legal from behind. The officials know they're not going to catch them all because they're looking at the point of attack. Most cut blocks happen behind the play, but they know the eye on the side of the camera, and the league office will straighten things out later in the week.
To the tune of $15,000 normally. Third down and 1. A catch is made by Smith, and Rod has the first down. And again, the Broncos are inside the 10, but they've been stymied twice tonight. It's the third time they've had a first and goal on their prior 2 forages inside the 10-yard line. They had to settle for field goals.
You know, Al, if you break a leg, it's $15 grand in this leg, but if the sock on that leg is not adjusted at the proper height, it's 20.
It does seem that way sometimes, doesn't it?
Well, there's the fashion police, and then there's the real police. Charles Woodson's in the game.
Again. Empty backfield, first and goal from the 8. Catch made, Smith. Smith loses the ball, but out of bounds, so it still belongs to Denver. He's tackled by James and Pope.
Boy, it's imperative that the Broncos get a touchdown. 10 minutes to go. A lot of time here in the third quarter. This is exactly the drive they needed to start the second half, Dennis.
I'm sorry, Dennis. James with a classic punch out here. Not even thinking about the tackle. He knows he's got the sideline to back him up. Why not just go for the rock?
That is a tomahawk chop right there. Beautiful by James.
Second and goal now. Mike Anderson will be the running back. And there is Charles Woodson once again, as he was at the end of the first half, just looking on.
He must be hurt. We certainly haven't heard anything from the Raiders about it, though.
Meanwhile, the Broncos could not get the right personnel on the field, and they have to burn a timeout.
Now, John Gruden said that Charles Woodson has a turf toe. He will go in and out the game. He says he's going to try to keep playing the whole game, though. So I'll give you more of an update on that.
Okay, in the meantime, that's something that happened in the first half. There he is.
You know, Al, excuse me, but if he's going to go in and out of the ball game, talk about a crucial time to put him in the game.
Yeah.
How about the 5-yard line, inside the 5-yard line? I would love, if I'm a Raider fan or a Raider defensive guy, to have 24 in that backfield with me.
Mike Anderson is in the backfield for Denver. He gets the football, and he runs right into Greg Biekert. Ball to the 2-yard line, setting up 3rd down goal.
Well, you know, Terrell Davis, he'll throw a feint in there. He's a power runner, but he does have good fakes. But I got to think Mike Anderson misses Howard Griffith the most out of these backs because he's just a run-to-the-hole, north-south guy, and Howard Griffith used to always precede him into those holes and eliminate people.
Yeah, it's a huge loss for the Broncos, especially critical times like this.
3rd and goal. Davis comes back in the game, but he is split wide to the right, bottom of the screen. That is Davis in motion, and we've got a whistle before the snap again, and once again, especially in the closed end of the stadium, either one of them, you've got players not hearing the whistle.
Prior to the snap, timeout was called by Oakland. This is their first charge to the timeout.
Well, Denver gave him a different look, and somebody called timeout for the Raiders. And this year he is more than ever the main man as Davis goes nowhere again. He's more than ever the main man because of the opening night injury to Ed McCaffrey, which was a huge loss.
Well, he better stay focused on those team records because there's a guy sitting across the field on the other bench who has set everything else not so far. You're never going to see it.
First 8 games of the season, Rod Smith has caught more balls than anybody at this point in any season. J.T. Smith, Chris Gardner would be next, each with 60.
J.T. Smith, now there's a blast from the past.
Most of Smith's catches come on 3rd down. We're going to need one here.
3rd down and 12 from the 10-yard line. Woodson is back in the game. Greasy throws, and that's incomplete, and looking for the flag was Montgomery, Scotty Montgomery. First time they've thrown his way tonight. Greg Biekert, the linebacker, was covering on the play.
I'm surprised Scotty's in there after that hit from Biekert earlier.
Tom Ruin to punt. Tim Brown again with David Dunn hurt. Brown, who in years past was a great punt returner, will have an opportunity here, and it's a wobbly kick. A flag is thrown well upfield, and it is a very short kick. And the way the Raiders are reacting, it may be against Oakland. And I'm wondering if they have too many men on the field.
Yeah, it may be holding on the gunner on the outside.
Flag came from about 40 yards away from the action, from the side judge. Illegal contact. Tony Correnti, the ref.
During the flight of the kick, illegal use of the hands to the face, receiving team number 37. 10-yard penalty to be assessed at the spot where the kick ended. First down.
So it's a post-possession foul on Johnny Harris. Oakland's ball, 9-point lead. The Raiders have the ball now at their own 48 after that very short punt and the penalty. Shanahan 11-1 against his old team, but trailing now by 9. Gardner is the running back in this set, and Gannon fumbles the football. A flag comes in, and Rich recovers it himself, at least for the moment.
Well, remember, I told you he has a slight concussion.
False start. Offense, number 12. 5-yard penalty remains. First down.
So there was no play, but that's a well-taken point, Dan. It was reported a slight concussion.
Well, I've been there, Al. I know that you think you're all right, but things just slow down a little bit. This is a good snap by True. Comes up, and Gannon just drops it. You got to keep your eye on the quarterback now. A simple thing is a center exchange fumbled by Rich Gannon.
First down, 15 from the 43. Gardner. And again, as we pointed out before, Rodney Peete is the backup. They signed him as insurance, and their number 3 quarterback would be the rookie Marcus Tuiasosopo. Bobby Hoying is hurt.
Al, I was knocked out in a game in Kansas City, and I stayed in the game and proceeded to throw 3 or 4 interceptions. I don't remember how many, but I do remember that 2 of them were returned for touchdowns. Finally, they said, "Get out of here. You're killing us." This is the shot from Kenoy Kennedy right here. A legal shot because Gannon's a running back. That is the problem now.
Second and 11, and making the catch was Porter. He fell down. He had more room to roam had he remained upright. Jimmy Spencer makes the tackle at the 49-yard line, setting up a 3rd down and 7.
Guess what, Dano? That concussion you had, you're still dinged. I don't even exist. Hey, how exasperated is Shanahan? He shows up for the key game of the year, and his kickoff guy and his punter are not showing up with him. I mean, that along with Cower yesterday and his travails with Chris Brown.
And it's really unusual because through the years, Elam and Ruin have been a tremendous 1-2 punch. 3rd down and 7 at the 49-yard line. Gannon with that short drop, surveying. What a job by the offensive line. And there goes Gannon again, and Gannon gets twisted as he struggles to get the first down by Ian Gold, but appears to have it.
This is a zone blitz by the Broncos. They're going to drop defensive line out on coverage here to gum up the middle. Watch these guys right here. They're taking away these crossing routes. There's Mobley. Porter trying to work his way open. Ian Gold with the speed. Again, a crossing route by a Raider receiver. Look at the mess right in here. Great job of that offensive line, and what a gutty effort right here by Rich Gannon.
Even when he's on impulse power, his instinct still tells him to stay up instead of sliding.
Ooh, and look at that. By 2 inches, a first down.
That's being a competitor. Fierce.
And what a job by the Oakland offensive line. Through the years, the Broncos have been sack happy against the Raiders, and that's part of the reason for their success. But tonight, zip, none.
And only 9 on the year.
You forgot nada.
Nada.
All right, thank you.
Zero.
Yeah.
This is Gardner. And Gardner, using the umpire to his advantage, takes the ball to the 36-yard line. Walker made the tackle, ran a pick off the umpire, Bob Wagner, talking about the sacks that Denver has affected against the Raiders through the years. In each of the last 7 games, 4 or more sacks. And, of course, all of those games, Denver wins.
Yeah. Did I just see the umpire throw a chop block?
Cut block.
Cut block.
That's only 15 grand. 2nd down and 4 from the 36. Gannon throws, and that is caught. Short pass over the middle by Terry Kirby, who makes the catch at the 34, and Al Wilson, the middle linebacker, is there. And now a very key 3rd down, 3rd and short, coming up for the Raiders. And clearly through Wilson's exasperation,
didn't like the mark.
Yeah, you got that off.
Yeah, he didn't like it at all.
Hated it.
You read those tea leaves?
And in fact, they're going to say his forward progress is enough to precipitate a measurement here. And this time they're 2 inches shy of the first down.
They thought they should be 2 yards shy of the first down.
With a naked eye, I thought he was well short of the first.
Well, if you put a patch over there, that eye wouldn't be naked.
I don't like hearing naked and 2 inches shy in the same sentence.
All right, here's the replay, Dennis. Terry Kirby's going to fight for this first down. Al Wilson's wrapping him up. The knee goes down there. That's a very generous mark.
It's one of those things you can challenge, but if you're Shanahan, do you want to challenge this on
Man, oh man.
Come on.
Of course, this yellow line was 2 yards away.
Not worth a challenge because at best it'll be 3rd and a yard and a half. Now it's Gannon who tries to get the first down, and let's see where they spot this. With the look on Shanahan's face, there was no question that Mike thought about challenging the spot. But in that particular case, even if you'd won the challenge, it would have been 3rd and, let's say, a yard and a half. So is it worth it?
Boy, I tell you, where the yellow line is and where they mark the ball is a good yard and a half. Now, they're probably giving him forward progress here, because if that's the case, then it is closer.
Yeah, I think they gave him that right foot as forward progress or something.
But how about the quarterback sneak with Gannon going head first?
And Gannon loses 2 inches. So they go from 2 inches to 4. And it's 4th down.
Somebody didn't tell Rich Gannon he had a concussion in the first half. Gets a break there, not getting hit in the head, gets pushed back by Al Wilson.
So now Ritchie and Crockett, the 2 big backs, come in this set. And the Raider options, of course, here are to try to kick a 50-yard field goal. Downside is Denver would get it at the 40. Pooch punt it. Or go for it. Or try to draw Denver offside.
They go right up the middle.
4th and inches, and this is Crockett, and he has it. He gets it to the 30-yard line.
That's such a no-brainer for John Gruden. When you've got Ritchie at 250 and Zach Crockett at 245, going behind Lincoln Kennedy at 340. I think I'd give it to him. Picked it up easily. Just a lead play with Ritchie taking out Romanowski and then Crockett taking the low road. Double team with Middleton and Lincoln Kennedy for the first down.
How low can you go?
Out of a base set here, it's Garner, the eye back. Swing him to the outside. Charlie picks up 9, getting to the 21-yard line. Romanowski in on the tackle with 2:10 to go in the 3rd.
Remember when Romanowski told us he didn't want to be out in space with Charlie Garner because he can make you look silly. There goes both Romanowski and Kenoy Kennedy. Good effort by Romanowski to get back in on the tackle, though.
Now Garner out and Kirby in as the eye back on 2nd down and 1. And they give it to Terry Kirby. And Kirby has enough leg drive to get inside the 20 to the 19-yard line where Bill Romanowski makes the tackle. Ball at the 19-yard line now, 1st down. Gannon using all of the play clock. And this is Crockett to the 19-yard line. And Gannon, the savvy one, the veteran one, knowing a 9-point lead. It's time to play a little bit of clock ball.
You know, we saw Jerry Rice pass protecting in the first half. That time Gannon had him come back in motion and try to be the lead blocker on that play. Jerry's a better pass blocker than he is a lead blocker. Take my word for it.
Jerry's looking at Gannon. Hey, didn't you hear what Dennis said about me when he got me lead block?
Here he goes, trying to cut big Kavika Pittman. No dice.
No rice.
2nd down and 10 at the 19-yard line, and Gannon has to take a timeout. And that's the second taken by Oakland. Remember, they took one earlier. Dorsett defensively took one, and they take one here with 21 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Well, if there is such a thing as good 3rd quarter timeouts, I think both those were pretty wise choices.
Yeah, you don't want that delay of game to push you back 5 yards. Every inch in this game, as we've seen, is extremely important.
I'm looking for Hanks down on the sideline.
I told you, Merton Hanks.
Nice to meet you.
Merton
Hanks
out
of the leg now.
Hey, Tom Hanks, another story. 2nd down and 10 now from the 19-yard line is Gannon. Pump fakes, throws in the end zone. Caught! It is Tim Brown for the touchdown.
the Broncos chose to come after Gannon and play man-to-man in the secondary, something you just hate to do in the red zone because if you get beat, it's 6 points. On the move, another great post route as he sets up Deltha O'Neal, takes him to school, and scores. The pressure doesn't get there. The offensive line, another great job, another beautiful pass.
The point after by Janikowski is good. 89 career touchdown receptions. For Tim Brown, he is now 5th all-time. And tonight alone, he has moved past Don Maynard and Andre Reed on the all-time career list. And Oakland extends its advantage to 16.
And he's done it with such style and class. I mean, this is a post route that you used to see Boyd Dowler run with the Green Bay Packers. Take a bow, Timmy.
Well, Deltha might have been the defensive player of the month for October, but he hasn't been in the cauldron of this game before. They have schooled him tonight.
Well, Jim Garner used to be the good luck charm for Oakland, but now it might be Tom Hanks. Enjoying yourself?
I must say, AFL Monday Night Football is everything I remember it. A beautiful matchup here.
Kent McLuhan and David Grayson.
Listen, I'm just here soaking up the Dennis Miller Renaissance machine, watching him add yet another show business profession to his resume.
Yeah, I'm doing rodeo next week. I'm a Brahma rider.
This is a great thrill for me and my boys. I want to thank you guys.
Yeah. Good to see you, and of course Saving Private Ryan coming our way on network television this Sunday.
Are they showing commercials on that, or is that we got some special thing happening on there?
Janikowski. It is fielded by Chris Cole in the end zone, 2 yards in, and he gets whacked at the 19-yard line by Travian Smith. Travian styling, and why not 2 sacks tonight? And a big hit. Pretty good scene here, though, isn't it, Tom?
I must say that I haven't been back to Oakland in a couple of years, and there's no doubt about it. As soon as you walk into the Coliseum, I see my friend Dwayne Clay from my high school drama class is still throwing the footballs around down there for the equipment guys. It was great to see him. It's a nice homecoming.
Well, Tommy, you've had the official stamp of imprimatur. They put you up on the Jumbotron here. This is a tough room. They gave you a nice cheer there.
Oh, let me tell you, I was sweating a couple of moments in anticipation of coming to the game tonight. That was definitely one of them.
Denver at the 19-yard line. Greasy throws, and that is thrown behind the intended receiver, Patrick Hayes. With 3 ticks remaining now in the third. So, Tom, as a resident of L.A., think of it this way. The Rams and the Raiders could wind up in the Super Bowl. It could have been L.A. against L.A.
Look, we're still trying to shake off the XFL down there. Now you're bringing up particularly tough memories for anybody who likes the action of the gridiron.
Tommy and I had seasons for the XFL. We were like Billy Crystal at the Clipper games, right down on the 50.
If you can name me 3 teams from the XFL right now, Dennis, I'll give you $10.
All right, the LA Aurora Borealises
and the Philadelphia Bell.
Dennis, were you on the Bosom Buddies too?
Huh? Yeah, I was Donna Dixon.
Hey, meanwhile, no commercials on Saving Private Ryan, but we have to take a few here to make up for it. Tom, great to see you.
Thank you so much.
Terrific.
Thank you, Tito. Good to see you, baby.
End of the third. It's all Oakland. Big night in Oakland, where Denver is trailing by 16 as we start the fourth quarter with Brian Greasy throwing. And it's caught by Desmond Clark, stretching and reaching for the first down. And it appears to have it. He does.
Well, what an effort by Clark. He was being tackled and just refused to go down until he got all the way to the marker. And lucky for him, the marker was right there in his vision, so he knew exactly what he needed. Greasy hanging tough in the pocket. Clark had to spin all the way around and then beat Anthony Dorsett with the stretch.
At the 30-yard line on first down now. Here's Davis, and he gets taken down from the side by Marquez Pope. Here are the numbers through 3 quarters.
Well, the Broncos had that great drive to start the second half, but only got 6 points out of it. Again, the Raiders totally dominant.
Well, the game almost dictates that the Bronx at least get 3 here. Does that missed extra point mean anything? No, not really.
3 points won't mean anything either.
They need 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions as Greasy throws. And the catch is made here by Eddie Kennison, and Kennison rolls his way to a first down up at the 42-yard line. Terrell Davis back in action tonight, first time in almost 2 months. ED, what do you think of him?
Well, Al, a couple of things I just wanted to see was, could he make the hard cuts like he did in the first game against the Giants? When Terrell Davis is healthy, I don't think it's a back in the league that hits the hole as hard and as fast. And right now, he looks like he's back and he's healthy.
Especially early in the game when he was getting some decent blocking, a couple of nice bursts, even though his average is under 3 yards per carry. That a lot of that had to do with the drop toss, which counts as a rush. Antonio Carter gets slung out of bounds by Travian Smith.
Dan, I don't know what you're saying. If they get 6 field goals here, they're back in the game. They've got to start somewhere.
I tell you, Travian Smith is having a fantastic night filling in for Elijah Alexander. This is a frisbee shot right here.
Whew. Look like Al Order.
That's a gold medal toss right there. It's really embarrassing when you end up underneath the bench.
Al Order, give me 5, Al.
4-time gold medalist. 2nd and 7 from the 44. And the catch is made, this time by Rod Smith. First down, has the ball to the Oakland 47-yard line.
I got to get back to Albino. I've somehow slid into Albino.
Yes, you have.
It's not traditional.
You've slid.
Let me go back to Albino.
You've done a lot of sliding.
I don't know what happened.
We're all slip sliding away here. Denver may be slip sliding out of the race for first place in the AFC West because they'd be 4-4. Raiders will be 6-1. Here's Woodson out of the game again in and out of the game with turf toe. Turf toe on grass. 1st and 10 from the 47. Davis, and that's what Dickerson was talking about. ED talking about Terrell showing a lot of the old Terrell Davis behind a Matt Lepsis block.
Matt Lepsis at 6'4", 290, but a marvelous athlete, being able to get out and run. That's why Denver and an illegal cut block.
I'm amazed Alandis Gary was deactivated. We went by that early in the game, but that's an amazing statement in a way by Shanahan.
1st and 10 at the 31-yard line. Greasy throwing, catch is made near side and stepping out of bounds. Desmond Clark, and that's a first down of the 18. Well, Mike pointed out last night, I mean, you really don't need more than 2 running backs to begin with. Most teams, if you're Tennessee, all you need is Eddie George. Here you have Davis, you have Mike Anderson. Gary can't play special teams, but Mike said they brought all 3 guys in, explained what the deal was. Told Alandis, who knows, next week he could be number 1.
What's it do to his head, though?
Well, this has been a kind of a soap opera for all 3 running backs because Terrell's been out of the lineup so much, but I think Gary is used to it. He knows he'll get a shot. He's young.
Remember when the 3 amigos were receivers?
17-yard line, catch is made by Davis, and Terrell trying to get into the end zone. Comes close, gets to the 1. Tackled by Allen and Beekert. So here are the Broncos marching all the way down the field on a drive that began all the way back at their own 19, maybe 20-yard line. And there's Dorsett limping off.
Boy, Greasy finding Terrell, throws the ball behind him, but what an adjustment to the pass, and then knowing where the goal line was. Broncos can't waste any time. They got to get this one in now because they got under 11 minutes to go.
This one in and convert to 2. 1st and goal. Greasy rolling, and then he has to throw it away, and there's a flag thrown. Oh, and of all things, it's a hold against the Broncos.
I think it's Dwayne Carswell who was trying to secure the corner for Greasy to get out on the rollout.
Offense, number 89. 10-yard penalty remains. First down.
That's such a backbreaker.
Yeah, but you remember that he said Greasy liked to operate the red zone from the 25 in. Maybe this gives him the space he needs.
Well, there's the hold right there. Now, when you're on the 1-yard line, your red zone offense is gone. It's now a goal line offense. You'd much rather be a yard away than 11.
I know, but that being said, it does open some more plays.
He was holding Travian Smith. It's first down and goal from the 11. Greasy, a reverse roll, then throws, and it is Desmond Clark for the a touchdown.
And if there are any questions about the strength and the health of Brian Griese's right shoulder, that throw there answered them all. Running to his left, seeing Clark in the end zone, he threw a marvelous pass. Watch the action go away. If you have a bad shoulder, you don't make that throw.
And they could not ram that play from the 1-yard line, Gannon.
Well, they would have been 20 yards out of bounds in the black hole.
Another red zone touchdown by Griese. They have to go for 2 to cut it to 8. Big conversion here. And they get it. It is hauled in by Rod Smith, and they're back to within 8.
We got a game.
Boy, we do.
I want a game to go down to the end.
28-20. Griese was hit as he threw. Momentarily shaken, but appears to be okay. There he was. He took a whack from Smith. 10:41 left in regulation.
We need one that goes to the end line.
Might have one. Here is Elam. Kickoff Kirby from the 7-yard line. And once again, a good run back, despite the fact they're missing David Dunn, who has run back every kickoff and punt this season until tonight. Again, fairly decent field position for the Oakland Raiders, and Eric Johnson is shaken up on the play. Oakland ball, they lead by 8. .14. Penalty.
False start. Offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Frank Middleton.
There you go. Now he's covering it the right way.
A lot made of lip reading in the National Football League, so.
Yeah, when you got a face like this, you're going to put it on television.
Yep.
Remember Matt Cavanaugh last year? And they were in the middle of that 6-game touchdownless streak. He was covering his mouth. Come on, Matt.
That gaffer's tape on it. 1st and 15 from the 28-yard line. Out the flat. Garner, good run. And there goes Charlie Garner, turning a minimal gain into a huge one. All the way to the Denver 43-yard line. 27 yards.
There are those moves Romo was fretting about, Dano.
Right, no question about it. He's very patient. He set up some blocks, and then he got into the open field, and there was time for moves. Watch Middleton out front there on Jimmy Spencer. This is just beautiful to watch. It takes that old Tennessee Volunteer, Al Wilson, to bring down this Volunteer.
Oh, that
Wilson's going for the chop, too, right there.
Some great peripherals.
And 10 at the 45-yard line. Terry Kirby, the tailback here. Knocked down, 2-yard loss, flag down. Tony Coroni's crew. The flags on either side of the field. Line judge, side judge throwing them.
Offside. Defense. Players in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Line judge and head linesman. Okay. 1st and 5. Well, Mr. Bob Fouts, one of the all-time greats, father of Dan, longtime voice of the San Francisco 49ers, and Dan good enough to get Papa Bobby the best seat in the house tonight.
You know, Dennis, you've heard the term red dog, and it means blitzing?
Yes.
That man right there coined the phrase. Wow. Used to sit in on coaches' meetings. Red Hickey, the 49ers.
1st and
5. So it comes from Red Hickey.
And also the alley-oop. The R.C. Owens you like to talk about?
Sure, I love that.
Y.A. Tittle lofting it high in the end zone.
Huh?
Bob Fouts saw some of the greats, and there are the numbers on the two guys playing the quarterback position tonight. 130.6 the rating for Gannon, 120.1 for Griese. Phenomenal figures.
And it's been a toughness both mentally but physically. Both of them have taken some unbelievable shots. Griese on that last 2-point conversion.
2nd down and 5 from the 40-yard line. Little toss back. This time it's Kirby again. Good blocking. And Kirby with a stiff arm. And then he just rides Walker for another 10 yards before he's tackled at the 20.
You know, most times stiff arms come from the side. Kirby went straight at Denard Walker with the stiff arm.
Let me ask you this, Dan. Can a defensive player stiff arm, or do you have to have a ball in your hand to punch somebody in the face?
Look at this. That's a great move, and the legs keep driving. The Raiders are going to take the air out of the ball now. It's going to be Ground Gruden from here on in.
And they can take the air out of the Broncos, who climbed with an 8, now find themselves in a position where they'll be more than one score down at the end of this drive. Oakland already in field goal range as Garner takes the ball to the 19, and he's tackled by Trevor Price.
See, Ground Gruden, I'm trying to be like the old man, come up with these that just laid there, Dennis. I mean, you didn't respond or anything.
I'm still amazed by the alley-oop and the Red Dog, and on top of that, he also hatched a Hall of Fame quarterback's son. The guy's got the trifecta there.
All right.
How proud do you have to be? You announce the old Niners, and your kid one day ends up at Braun's bus. Beautiful.
And he looks great. Great to see him tonight. 2nd down and 9 at the 19-yard line. Gannon slings it, and then one of the few times there's mistiming between Brown and Gannon, and it looked like Brown was pointing to himself as if, I blew it.
Well, I always hear UB Brown when he's covering the NBA say they need to stop here. And Denver definitely, they need to stop here.
They need a turnover, basically. And turnovers haven't come easy against the Raiders this year. Garner had the fumble in the first half. Gannon on an unbelievable streak without throwing interceptions.
No scepters for ages now.
Well over 200 passes. None since his 4th pass of the season. Big 3rd and 9. Randy Jordan in the backfield, and we've got a timeout taken here by Oakland, and that's their final timeout. After the timeout, and Oakland has none now. Terry Kirby is the running back here. It is 3rd down and 9 at the 19-yard line. And Gannon swings it out. Hits Kirby. Kirby seeking the first down, but it'll come up about 2 yards shy. Bumped out of bounds by Mobley, and setting up a fairly easy field goal attempt for Sebastian Janikowski.
You just can't give this offensive line enough credit. Gannon's thrown 33 times tonight, and they've done a wonderful job. Frank Middleton stepping in for Mo Collins. Watch Tim Brown. Denard Walker says, "You're not scoring on me again."
That's Denard's 3rd big hit of the night.
31-yard field goal attempt for Janikowski. Ball spotted at the 21, and Janikowski with a huge leg. 1st-round draft pick a couple of years ago. Bangs it through. And with 7:28 left in regulation, Oakland's lead is now 31-20. AFC West standings at the moment. Oakland 5-1, trying to go to 6-1. San Diego losing yesterday. By the way, Doug Flutie, MRI and the concussion, will practice this week. And then Denver at the moment 4-3.
Haven't seen a little man do business like that in San Diego since Dickie Post, the mod scooter.
Well, Drew Brees, not bad yesterday.
Yeah, the kid's got savvy for a rook.
San Diego goes to Denver next week. Oakland goes to Seattle. Janikowski's kick. This is Cole from the 1-yard line, and Chris Cole going straight up the middle. Not much finesse. Cole to the 33-yard line. Greasy. Intercepted by William Thomas.
Big play.
All the way down to the 1-yard line.
Woo.
William Thomas has done this 25 times in his 11-year career. The veteran move, reading the route of the quarterback, Greasy, his eyes, and almost getting in the end zone.
Oh, does that got to feel great to Gruden to get that off his back?
In convincing fashion.
Well, Gruden's a great young coach, and I'd say he had to pump prime tonight. These guys look tight.
They've been tight all year. Remember, against Miami, their only loss, the Dolphins had to have Jay Fiedler run in on the last play of the game.
33-yard return, and now it is Zach Crockett in for the touchdown.
Check out number 59, William Thomas. getting high fives on the sidelines because of this play. Watch him just read Greasy, hide behind the defensive end, and then go up and make the catch.
Wow, that was about the most graphic depiction you can see of a guy play hide and seek, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was right behind the defensive end, and then Zach Crockett's not going to be denied. That's his second score of the night.
For Greasy, that's 11 interceptions in his last 6 games. Last year, he had only 4 all year.
Wow, this might be the loudest stadium I've been in. My first time through here. This is a particularly joyous occasion for these fans.
Extra point coming from Janikowski. And with 7:06 to go in regulation, Thomas is picked. Sets up an easy touchdown. 38-20. Janikowski's kick. One hopper. Cole slips. Goes nowhere.
What is the air particularly heavy tonight between Elam and Janikowski? You got pretty strong pins. Nobody can kick off.
Now we're so far below sea level, Dennis, as you mentioned. I tell you, Tim Brown has been way above sea level tonight. Rich Gannon has thrown to 7 different receivers, but he got Tim Brown with 2 classic post patterns for touchdowns. And when Tim Brown is hot, this whole Raider team just hot right along with him.
Brown caught 4 on the first drive, 9 on the game. Ball at the 18-yard line. And here's Davis, and Terrell Davis sprints up to the 32-yard line.
Wow, it's a small victory for Denver, but you got to like the way Terrell looks tonight. I mean, they are getting whomped, but he looks good.
Yeah, it's funny. He goes for 13 yards, a 15-yarder. That nice gain there. And then other times, the Raiders just stuff him in the backfield. So you got to wonder about the play of the defense of the Raiders, why they've been beat so many times, and yet they can come right back.
1st and 10. And Greasy slipping again. And turf getting slicker and slicker, and that's a gift sack for Grady Jackson. And that's 4 sacks tonight for the Raiders.
And the first for Grady Jackson this year, and it was a gift. 330 pounds. He's more of a run stuffer inside. He's a little late off the ball, but he gets right by Lenny Friedman, who's playing with a bad knee. Greasy goes down, and then a whole bunch of weight on top of him.
9-yard sack, 2nd down and 19. The ball up at the 22-yard line. Davis in motion. Smith. Check in with Melissa.
Al, Grady Jackson has emerged as the Raiders' best defensive lineman, and given what he's overcome to even be here, it's that much more impressive. When he was 7, his mother died giving birth to his youngest brother. When he was 16, his father was murdered breaking up a fight. And Jackson was going to play football at Alabama, but got a job loading trucks instead so that he could help raise his 2 younger brothers. After 2 years of working, he went to Hines Junior College and then to Knoxville College. Al, in honor of his parents, he has written, "Mom and Dad, rest in peace, love Grady," on his shoe.
And a sack on Greasy there, and now Greasy has to take a timeout, and that's what Melissa was talking about. Rest in peace, Mom and Dad. Jackson, you know, it's an interesting thing. We haven't talked very much about Darrell Russell tonight. Darrell Russell, considered to be an emerging star along the defensive front, missed the first 4 games of this season for violating the league's substance abuse policy, and right now relegated to a reserve role.
Yeah, Rod Coleman starts ahead of him, and not only relegated to a reserve role, but was the subject of trade rumors that were more than just rumors.
New York Jets on the other side of those trade rumors.
Well, I think Gruden's a firm adherent to the premise that the sum is much more powerful than the ingredients, you know. And Darrell Russell, he could have all the pedigree he wants in the world, but there's a Gruden way, and if you're not doing it, you're not going to start.
It's the way you have to coach. 3rd down and 11 at the 29-yard line. Greasy hit as he throws. And it's 4th down.
Well, there are times when there's not enough money in the world to make you want to play quarterback in the NFL. When you're down by 18 points and you got to throw, this is what you face. Russell 96, Jackson just overpowering right in the middle. He falls into the sack right there. So Grady Jackson here in the 4th quarter picks up 2 sacks.
Raiders are red dogging everybody.
Well, the Raiders have put tremendous pressure on Greasy almost all night, and the Broncos have put almost no pressure as the Broncos will go for it on 4th down. No pressure on Gannon. This time it is tipped and incomplete, and again some pressure on Greasy that time. Thomas covering on the play, and he turned the ball over on downs.
William Thomas has got Greasy time, doesn't he, Dan?
Yeah, we got a flag way down the field, though, so maybe the Broncos will get a break here.
Defense, 12 players on the field at the snap. 5-yard penalty remains 4th down.
Which is why they were trying to call timeout.
Well, Gruden told us he was trying to break into 5-4-3 tonight.
That's the most effective prevent defense. If you can get that 12th guy out there.
Right.
Only at A&M, though.
Hardly any other teams running the 3-4-5 anymore. They've all gone to the 5-4-3.
Right.
So it gives the Broncos one final breath on 4th down and 6. Greasy off his back foot and intercepted by Torrey James. Should have had Bob Fouts call that alley-oop.
Greasy just trying to make something happen. And how about Torrey James filling in for Charles Woodson all night? Doesn't buy that fake by Rod Smith, and then goes up and gets the 2nd pick of the year. How sweet it is coming against your former team, too.
We're looking at the AFC frontrunner here, boys. These guys, this team is mega legit.
That's really a good point, Dennis, because the offense is running so well with Gannon in charge, but this defense has the ability to make big plays, and they have a lot of players that can do it.
Got to keep Gannon healthy, though. Other than Brett Favre, there's a team that falls off the precipice if they lose a quarterback. It's the Pack and it's the Raiders.
And one of the reasons is Bobby Hoying, who would be the number 2 quarterback, is hurt. So they've had to bring in, as we said before, Rodney Peete, who actually got in for a play tonight. And the rookie Marcus Tuiasosopo is number 3. Zach Crockett carries here. Raiders over the next 4. Seattle, it's the ESPN game next Sunday night. San Diego comes here. Then the Raiders go to the Giants, who escaped with their lives yesterday. And then Arizona comes here. Meanwhile, Denver goes home to face San Diego. You look at the Broncos tonight, Dan. No protection really for Greasy, and defensively, they just don't look anywhere near as good as they did earlier this season and even last year.
And they were playing against a beat-up offensive line in the Raiders, and no sacks on Rich Gannon. That's troublesome for Mike Shanahan in this defense.
2nd and 8. And this is Terry Kirby up to the 39-yard line, and a flag comes in at the end because now we've got garbage time.
Well, how much do you think they missed their old defensive coordinator, Robinson?
Greg Robinson, who's now in Kansas City. Well, philosophical differences.
But Robinson sure seemed to have the Raiders' number with his multiple defenses and pressure packages.
During the continuing action immediately after the play, personal foul. Unnecessary roughness, offense, number 77. This is a 15-yard penalty. It'll remain 2nd down.
That is Darryl Ashmore.
And he's looking for number 53, Bill Romanowski. Romo's on the ground here. And Ashmore clips him from behind well after the ball carrier was down. And Romo says, why me? Why would you take a shot at me?
Well, you know, the Bronx have faced some definite adversity here in the first half of the season. I mean, you got no Schlereth, no Tony Jones, no Alex Gibbs. You lose Robinson over, like you said, philosophical difference. Both their guards have been dinged a little. No Howard Griffith. Ed McCaffrey goes down in the first game. They're definitely faced a lot of adversity.
2nd and 21. Gannon has that one tipped. Coming in and batting it was John Mobley. The AFC is so strong right now that the Broncos, if they lose this one, go to 4-4, and there would be 9 teams in the conference with better records. Only 6, of course, go to the playoffs, so they'd be well out if the season were to have ended tonight. Mike not losing 3 consecutive division games.
5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
As the Denver coach.
Raiders had too many men in the huddle there.
Johnny's still feeling it. He'll be up in 5 hours.
By the way, the last time Shanahan lost 3 consecutive games in the AFC West, he got fired. He was the Raider coach. 89.
You don't think Bolin would?
No, not in 10,000 years. 3rd and 26. I hate ranking coaches, you know, who's the best and all that nonsense. But in these 2 guys, I mean, you know, you name the top 5 or 6 coaches in the league, and they are, both of them right now, on the list. I mean, Shanahan's record speaks for itself. 2 Super Bowls. Always won 2/3 of his games in the regular season. Gruden still, amazingly, the youngest coach in the league in his 4th season.
And both of them probably the 2 most intense guys we run across, huh?
In their own ways, but I mean, guys, Gannon upset. He plays this game to the end. ESPN.com. The rest of it, as you all know.
The thing I love about Gruden is that he's taken the Raiders and molded them as he wanted to. He has an offense that is diverse. He's got a defense that's aggressive. And he's got very talented players. Plus, he has veteran players who know that their careers are coming to an end. They know that this is as good a shot as they're going to get, and they are leading by example and performing.
I know it's only been 1 year, but it's weird to look at the all-time Raider punting average list and see this kid above Ray Guy.
Leckler. Fielded at the 33 by Delta O'Neal. And to the 37. Well, since they moved from Cleveland, the last time that franchise was on Monday Night Football, the Cleveland Browns were playing in 1995. Greasy throws. Anderson makes the catch. Gus Frerotte is the quarterback, and as Greasy gets the rest of the night off to Anderson. And he'll go without a huddle here.
You know, talking about the Ravens, they kind of like playing in Adelphia Coliseum, don't they? Did you notice how yesterday they gave the Steelers their first loss in their new ballpark?
Everybody in that division keeps saying the other team's stadium is their stadium. Remember when Tennessee had Jacksonville's number? Now Baltimore has Tennessee's number. Meanwhile, there's Greasy's night. 4 sacks. 6 times he got knocked down. 2 picks.
2 scepters. I love it when we go to Nashville because Al always jumps up on Jug Band karaoke night, does a little Tammy Wynette with me. It's always a big thrill to be on stage with you, Al.
Take Steve Hurt with us, make a trio.
Stand by your color commentator.
2nd and 1. Anderson to the 30-yard line.
Are we coming to the booth again, or we got a strobe light in here?
Want to see
you
your
look good.
Huh?
You look good.
Yeah, thank you. They broke me down like Cold Hand Luke a few weeks ago. I was trying to dress in the skivvies up here, but Freddie whacked me around. Now I'm in the suit, man. Huh? You want me to go fetch that duck walking, boss?
2-minute warning, I want you to.
Not today, boy.
Did. Get that 50th egg in. Oh.
1st and 10 at the 29. Frerotte throws. And Ron Smith almost makes a great catch. Wants a hold on Torrey James, but there's no flag.
Pretty good battle tonight. Torrey James filling in for Charles Woodson, working on Rod Smith here. There he gets the grab in there, but he does it so slyly and quickly that he doesn't draw a flag. Goes right for the ball with the left hand after making contact with the arm.
Well, I thought Rod Smith would have got a rep call there. He's got more rep than Torrey.
2nd and 10 at the 29. Almost picked on the deflection. Eddie Kennison, intended receiver. Marquez Pope was almost off.
Marquez Pope John the 23rd. Wasn't that the best Pope? Famous Pope? I don't know.
Dave Pope. Dan, what's your take on the Broncos right now? Halfway through the season, they're going to go home 4-4.
Well, that look kind of sums it up. Looking at the scoreboard, seeing an 18-point deficit, and wondering, what are we going to do now? I think they got to settle on a running back, number one. So maybe it's real positive, as Dennis talked about, that Terrell Davis looked good tonight.
Perrott throws, and that's caught by Desmond Clark, tackled by William Thomas.
But Dano, what do you make of the 11 interceptions by Greasy? That's pretty shocking.
There's no question that it's a lot more than he's thrown in the past, but a lot of them have come in certain situations where he had to throw, as he did tonight. I would be more concerned about the lack of production out of the defensive line of the Broncos and that entire defense. The Raiders set the tone tonight with that first drive, didn't they? Came right down the field, put 6 on the board.
2-minute warning. The Raiders that close to breaking a 7-game losing streak to Denver. Oakland on top 38-20. Again, Denver came in having beaten Oakland 7 consecutive times. And we have been breaking streaks left and right because we had the Giants and Eagles on a couple of weeks ago. And the Eagles were able to win after losing 8 during the regular year and 1 playoff game. Pittsburgh had lost to Tennessee 7 straight times, and then the Steelers won last week handily, and another 7-game streak is going down the drain tonight as Oakland will finally knock off Denver since John Gruden took over as Oakland's head coach. Streak busters. One streak, though, continued in that Dallas-Washington game. Dallas came into the game having beaten Washington 7 times in a row, and they were able to knock him off again. 4th and 6 now, 26-yard line. Perrott keeps it going, and Rod Smith will at least pad the stats with a touchdown. 10th catch tonight, 67 for the season, and a 26-yard touchdown reception by Rod Smith. And it's a 12-point Oakland lead. Well, yesterday, for the first time in the history of the National Football League, a team in the last 30 seconds of the game was down by 14 and won the game. Hello, Chicago.
Hello, Chicago. Talk about winning in style and highlight film stuff.
It was the same kid again with the scepter, wasn't it?
Right. Mike Brown. And here is Anderson for the 2-point conversion to take it in and make it a 10-point game.
Raiders are in a very loose zone defense on this route by Rod Smith. He's going to run through the entire defense. You can see that nobody is guarding him because they're just playing their areas. Perrott got time to throw, and when you have time to throw against the zone, this is usually the result. And then the 2-point conversion, second one tonight for Denver, first one on the ground.
Speaking of yesterday's action now, can we give it up for Marty Schottenheimer, Low? That team looked dead to me, man.
Well, there's Pat Bowlen, the owner of the Denver Broncos, who has seen better times than tonight. Talking about Marty Schottenheimer. People gave that team up for dead. You're right.
Believe in your system. Marty kept saying, I'm a teacher. I believe in the system. Darn if he hasn't righted that ship.
And in what is turning out to be a very competitive NFC East. And I say that, use that word comparative, because it's not a very good division.
I mean, as you look at the anticipated kicks, onside about a third of the time, the kicking team recovers it, and clearly this falls into that category. Ball has to go 10 yards or past the yellow line, and there's a flag. Apparently, the Broncos were offside to begin with, which may be a moot point here. Jerry Porter comes up with the football.
Yeah, one of the Broncos had a whole shot there. They came out like the Winter Nationals.
Offside, kicking team, number 55. The penalty is declined. First down.
These two teams will meet again at the end of the season, toward the end of the season.
Boy, what an effort by Jerry Porter as Ian Gold low bridges him. Detron Smith with a little love tap there. Did we mention these two teams don't like each other?
Yeah, these guys make the Hatfield and the McCoys look like the Bradys.
Keith Jackson coined that phrase one day, remember, years ago, as a Keithologist. Oh, I got a couple of teams that don't like each other very much. I got the big uglies in the trenches.
Yeah, Keith will be in Pasadena this week as the Ducks take on the Bruins.
Right, Keith will be doing the national championship game this year at the Rose Bowl.
What's Keith's deal? He refuses to go past Barstow now as far as East Coast travel? Or
it's going to be my deal next year too, babe. Malibu, Kelly Hayes, George Hill, our gang up here, Jeff Bentley.
Oh, look, they rubbed Gruden's hair. Oh, that's not good.
Fred Godelli, Drew Essekoff and the gang bringing you the game from Oakland. Howard Katz, our executive producer, and Bob Toms, director of production, and the gang all moving in Moss or in Mass to Nashville. What is it, Denny?
Roberto Duran would tell you it's on Moss.
A rolling group gathers no moss.
Brother Loves Traveling Salvation Show. On to Nashville. What are we going to eat there, Ben?
Speaking of Moss, we'll see Randy in 2 weeks. It's the Giants in Minnesota as we look ahead. We've got Tampa Bay at St. Louis.
Ouch, that hurts, no matter how late it is.
Tim Brown serving as sort of a cheerleader here. Telling everybody to get up one more time.
He brought us on the air with Eric Dickerson. He wants to take us off the air.
He does. And that's going to do it. So John Gruden finally gets a win over the Denver Broncos. And Mike Shanahan's mark now is 11-2 against his ex-team. Broncos limping home 4-4. Raiders 6-1. And very close, as we mentioned, to the top to an unbeaten season. Their only loss this year was that last-second loss to Miami on that brilliant play by Jay Fiedler. Play of the game and interviews and a wrap coming up from Oakland, where the Raiders knock off Denver 38-28. Raiders win it 38-28. Let's go to Eric.
I'm here with Rich Gannon. Rich, a mild concussion in the first half. How do you feel right now?
I don't know anything about that mild concussion. I felt pretty good. You know, I just got a thump on the head, but we hung in there, we battled, and we made some big plays in the passing game tonight. Really helped us out.
Now, was that the game plan to exploit them through the air?
Not really. We felt like we could be aggressive in our approach, but at the same time, we wanted to try to run the ball a little bit. I thought we had a pretty good mix, but we really hurt them with some big passes.
Thank you, Rich.
All right, guys.
Okay. Over to Melissa Stark.
All right, Eric. Tim Brown, 9 catches, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns. Why were you so effective tonight?
Well, you know, we just thought that if they play regular defense, we could do some things, and they play regular defense most of the time. They didn't really come up and challenge us. So, you know, in that situation, I win. And, you know, I was able to get some things done tonight and help the team out.
Coming into this game, John Gruden was 0-6 against the Broncos. How special was this win, do you think, for him personally?
It's special, you know, but we couldn't focus on that. You know, this game doesn't win the Super Bowl for us. So all year, all we've been talking about is one game at a time. This is one win for us, and next week we got a big game in Seattle. We got to be ready for it.
Thanks so much, Tim.